All right, you guys. So I'm going to share one of my dating horror stories with you. And I have to do this because I realize when you look at all this, you think, oh no, she's probably not had any times that she was stupid or dumb or yeah, yeah, she has. And she is me. And so I'm just gonna share. I'll probably share a few throughout, but um, I'll share one with you today. And let me just say, I'm actually really a private person, so I don't really share a lot. But I'll never use names or give like those type of details because I don't, And plus, they know who they are. Um, but I will tell you about the stalker. Well, one of them. But anyways, so this was during the time my daughter had she was away with her dad. So it was one of the times I was free. I didn't have many of those times, let me say, because I had her the whole there was like one time she went away for a year and one time she went away for a summer and that's it. And so the whole rest of the time I was, with a kid. And I didn't date when I had her in the home. I just wouldn't. Um so anyways, I met this guy. I think I met him online. I want to say I met him online. But when I met him, I was like, he'll do. I really wasn't I want to say I wasn't looking for long term. I don't know if I don't really know what I was looking for. And I don't even think that I thought to myself, like, what are you looking for? It wasn't even a question. It was like, oh, well, he's nice enough. We can just hang out. Not horrible. That's what I don't know. That's bad. Um, but what happened, he would drink and get really, like, really angry, like, and just act like a completely different person when he would drink. It was just like really bad. And I remember one time my friend was over and he just started doing all this. And I remember she looked over at me like, and I just felt like she was embarrassed and she was looking at me like, you're dating this guy? And then in that moment, I was like, yeah, why am I dating this guy? I don't think I ever had thought through it, but by her embarrassment, I like made him leave, and I just, that was it for me because I was like, no, why am I dating this guy? Like, it wasn't even worth that. So, I called him on the phone. Now, this was before you could block people because you really couldn't block people back then. You had to just let the phone ring, um, keep ignoring it, but you couldn't really block them. I I remember like I told him I didn't want to talk to him anymore or whatever. And I remember he said this phrase to me and it was the worst phrase like ever. Like you don't do something like that to somebody. He goes, "Welcome to the wonderful world of HIV." And he started laughing and he hung up the phone. What the fuck would he say? Oh my God. If you want to see somebody like I lost. I was like, "What?" And then he would answer the phone. There is a level of evil you have to be to say some. And I just was, how many times I had to get tested and test. Anyways, but he was just diabolical in the mind to even think of stuff like that. Why would he even say that? Where would he even come up with that? Because it wasn't true, but he just knew he just could, say something to hurt. Oh my God. But anyway, so I had broken up with him and I was just done with him. But he still was calling and he was just threatening, saying what he was going to do or whatever. And I just ignored him. I thought it was just stupid. Honestly, I really didn't expect him. But then he started saying stuff like, oh, I see your car. Like he would say stuff to where I would knew that he was watching. And I was like, oh, crap. But I still was just ignoring him. I figured he'll get over it. But then he started calling my job. And I remember one day he called my boss and my boss called me over and she was just like, yeah, a guy just called and said he was going to be at your house later to hurt you tonight. And I was like, oh my God, so embarrassing. So my coworker came over to my house. It was a guy coworker that I had. He was really cool. Um, and he came over and he was like sitting in a chair like a bodyguard all evening. And I was like, this is embarrassing. I have a bodyguard from work coming over. Like, but me, we were all cool at work. So we were tight. We weren't just coworkers. We were friends, but that's still embarrassing. And then I just remember some nights I didn't want to stay at my house. I was too scared. I thought he might come. So I would go stay at my friend's house or I would have them come stay with me. I remember one night my friend, she had to come, but she had her kids. She had to bring all her kids and all this luggage. And then I just remember watching her setting up to sleep and she had her older kids. And I just felt so bad. Like, I really got this lady over here with all her kids because of this fool. Like, that is so, oh. I was just, oh, but I was so scared. I don't know. He just got in my head. He would just say stuff that got in my head, and I just listened. I don't know, but I don't know. One night I woke up. It's like the middle of the night, it's like two something three, and got in my car, drove to his house, and I don't think I took pictures, but I like knew enough details. Like because I was sending him texts. I sent him text and let him know this car was out there, like this. This is what it looked like, just to let him know that I drove by his house, and I let him know that what I would do to him, what I would do to his sister. Listen, let me just, I am not condoning violence or threatening people. I don't think anyone should do that. Um, but I was just like, I'm not, let me just show you that other people can do this. I can drive by your house too. And I don't remember exactly what I said, but I put details that he knew that I had to actually go by his house to see. I wouldn't have known whatever. It was something about his car, whatever car was in the driveway, the house. Like I said something, but he knew that I had went to his house. Um, and it worked. I didn't hear from him after that. And well, I did hear from him one more time, but it was like at least a year later, because I remember I was at school sitting in the parking lot getting ready to go into class, and my phone rang, and I didn't recognize the number, and I answered it, and it was his voice, and I just like, if a black person can turn white, like I know all the blood, I was just like, just that fear. But I hung up, and then I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going there again. No, by then I already, listen, by then I had a blade, a taser. I was done. I was like, I will not be afraid again. So anyways, I know that's horrible, but I don't know why I would stay with someone like that. And with all of it was so many bad things that he even did in the relationship. Why did I stay? Why did I even tolerate? It was bad, but we've all done some stupid things. We really have. And so anyways, all that to say, when I'm going through all this dating stuff, it's really from a place of experience. It's not stuff that I heard, or I've been through a few a few things. So learning self-love, and learning how to put up boundaries, and learning how to speak up for myself, and learning all of this is learnable, and was learned, and can be learned. So you might be stupid now, and that's fine. We've all been there, but don't stay there. Don't stay there. And honestly, God was protecting me, because I could have went a lot worse. He could have actually, try to kill me, or a lot of people don't make it out of those stupid situations. That's why the best practice is not get in them in the first place, because there's not always an exit. There's not always a clean exit. He could have been crazy. He could have been crazier. He could have not, I called his bluff, but he could have not. He could have been like, okay, and he could have went, and acted even crazier, by me threatening him. But thank God he didn't. But he could have. Um, so, anyways, carry on. I forgot. I wanted to tell you about one night when I was scared and I went to a friend's house. I didn't have, like, my friend was busy or something, so I didn't have anywhere to go. I had called an ex. So I actually went to an ex's house to stay on his couch, because he had to work at night anyway, so he wasn't going to be there, so he didn't care. So and while I was there, he was like, open the door, somebody's coming. And I was like, what the heck? And it was another girl. She was running from her husband. I was like, some random girl that I don't even know. And I mean, me and this guy, we were just friends at this point, but I know he was cool enough to let me stay in his house, to stay away from this crazy guy. And so I was like, okay, come on in. I guess this is a shelter at this point. And it was that night that I had decided that I was going to fight back. I was done. I remember, because I was like, I'm laying in my ex's bed with some random girl running from her husband. I was like, I am done, being scared. I just remember. And then, yeah. So it kind of was like a building up of, just embarrassment on top of embarrassment on top of embarrassment. But, yeah. I did some dumb stuff, you guys. All right, carry on.